Hello and good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Animation Breakfast Club with your hosts, Doig and Swift.
Oh, it's me.
Please hold your applause. Thank you. How are you getting on today, Swifty?
I'm a Jean. I don't know.
You're a Jean.
I'm a Jean. I just woke up.
I just woke up.
I just woke up, and then I woke you up.
You did. I'm appreciative of your alarm clock abilities.
I'm tired.
How are you all doing? Those of you who are not us and are elsewhere and are watching this stream.
How'd you guys?
I'm gonna furthermore refer to you as the chat.
Le chat.
Le chien. Oh,
Lady Amy, same.
Cat chat.
Snowflake Blossom. I'm tired, but not tired enough to sleep. That was Michael at 3 a.m. last night.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Yep. I was wired. I was eager to try and make more progress because I fell into the trap, the production trap, where you feel like if you just stay up, you'll get more done than if you go to sleep.
And did it work?
Yes.
I fell into the trap. The production trap.
Jojo Keyframe, good morning.
Good morning.
You've entered into the gauntlet.
You are here.
You have arrived.
What you gonna do?
Please take a left into the changing room where you will find a uniform with your name on it.
Yeah.
And a foam baton.
Yes.
Prepare yourself.
Please leave your phone and all communication devices which will reach the outside world in a tray.
Yep.
This will be taken to the furnace.
You do not want to be carrying any metal into the next room.
When you're ready, go through the large iron door with the skulls on it.
Not the one with flowers on it. That's for a different day.
And welcome.
Jojo Keyframe is ready.
Ah, a brave one, I see. This is animation.
Let me just switch us over to actually sharing our screens because I've not done that yet.
Oh. And here I thought I was doing it the whole time.
You thought you were doing it the whole time?
Yes.
Well, you in fact were not.
Behold! Yes, it's just as you feared. It's art. But
let's
you
see.
weren't prepared for that.
I need to do a little bit of housekeeping so that your screen is nice.
Keep that house.
Wait, I don't want to do that. I want to do...
What's wrong with my screen?
It's too small.
Oh. Wow, the music is really epic right now.
That's because Jojo Keyframe is about to face the gauntlet.
The gauntlet is
We'll ask
us.
you a series of 3 questions. They are...
How'd you feeling?
How's it going? And do you have any questions?
For us? I'm cleaning up.
The Animated Moon. Yeah, I put out a call for folks if they have had any Doig Swift fan art from the entire history of knowing us.
Yeah, not even just Glim. In fact, the more stream related it is, the better. We wanted to do like a cool little showcase. We thought it'd make a cool waiting screen. And we want to basically give credit and show off everyone's art.
Yeah.
We thought that'd be really fun.
That is the idea.
Basically guys, I've been watching a lot of Snaps Cube. She does that. And it's really, really effing cool.
Yeah. I like that you're just owning that. You're just
Well,
like,
yeah.
I saw it somewhere else.
Yeah.
It was cool.
That's exactly it. Yeah, it was. I was like, we should do that. That's a really cool idea.
We have received fan art at one point, and we should encourage those of you of artistic sensibilities to perhaps procure more.
Well, it's really nice to show it off on Twitter and, you know, retweet it and be like, everyone look at this cool thing. But it's even better to keep doing that and sharing it and being like, look how continually cool this is.
Perpetually cool.
Forever, yeah.
And so, I put out a ask because I was just asking for previous fan arts so that we had a little collection of them.
Snowflake Blossom says, what would you guys think if I put you two in an animation meme I'm doing? Well, I think that'd be grand. I think that everyone should put us into every animation meme they do. I think we should just be a continuing presence in memes.
I like that you went from acceptance to demanding.
Y'all aren't allowed to use memes anymore without me in them. I put the me in memes twice.
We're two people. We have two me's to consider. How do you think memes started? Me.
Actually, memes started because someone was writing about how ideas are passed between people socially. And he wrote it in a scientific book, which had nothing to do with the internet. And then someone read that and published a paper and referred to the evolving media online as a meme for the first time, and then it caught on, even though it had nothing to do with the actual meaning of the word. Anyway.
That's good to know that memes existed before the internet did, and that meming is a cultural practice.
Well, memes in that way aren't referring to the same thing they are today. Like, a meme would be, for example, that the Earth is round is a very successful meme. It's an idea that one person had that has caught on because it's like been backed up by a bunch of proof and she's.
Does it cease being a meme when it has evidence?
I don't think so, because the thing which makes it a meme is the fact that the information has spread and become commonplace. It's now an idea that's in people's heads and is accepted.
Okay. I never knew there was such depth or
like, genes.
I know genes, yeah.
It's modeled on that word. So the same way that if you get two people together, and they procreate, then they create a copy of their DNA.
And you don't film it.
Well, I mean, that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
But they make a copy of their genes in the child they create.
Okay.
It's that, except with ideas. So the person who coined the term was like, oh, it has to be like genes, but not, because it's the same idea, but for ideas. So, what about memes?
Does the M stand for metaphor?
That I could not tell you. Probably.
Memes,
Maybe.
aka reproduction. We figured it out, folks. Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, it's brain babies.
Brain babies, gotcha.
That's all it is. Brain babies.
Yeah, I guess it's like the way that plants, they have spores.
I thought you were about to say the way plants lay eggs. I was really excited to make fun of you.
Well, that's kind of what they do with the fruit that they have and the seeds inside and everything.
Memes are brain babies.
Well,
and seeds are plant eggs.
Consider this.
Things I learned on the stream.
Okay? If you make a popular meme and you dress it up all nice and you make it fancy.
And you let it go out, but you give it a chaperone because you want it to have a good time.
Yeah. And you fruit on a tree is fancy. Like, it's all dressed up and it's made alluring, and animals want to eat the fruit and spread the fruit around. Yeah.
Just use it as a moisturizer.
Smear
that shit across the road.
So fruit, the what's it called? The flesh of a fruit?
Yes, that's what it's called. Creepily enough.
The edible part, that's like the laughter or the humor of a meme. That's the enticing, tempting, alluring part of a meme.
I am quickly getting lost.
Oh, are we too many levels down into...
This propaganda is not what I came here for. Eat the fruit, Hardick!
Why do I have a line right here? Why you... I'm just gonna paint it over. What would you like us to talk about,
Anyway,
Habbo?
yeah, we don't know what we're talking
for?
about. What were we saying? Well, what was that?
I don't know what's behind my Photoshop screen. I'm gonna have to...
Well,
a
NDA. Window.
You shush. I need to like minimize it and maximize it to get it. Oh, you would have seen thumbnails of layouts from Project
X. Project X. It's that project where we're trying to turn people into X-Men.
Yeah.
By exposing them to various dangerous substances.
Just by shouting X at them.
X! X!
You will become special.
You will become powerful. X! Give it time.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, as with art, you have to give things a while for them to bear fruit.
If Animal Crossing is taught as anything, it's that stuff happens the next day when you wait for it.
Yeah, that's the Animal Crossing way. Just give it another day. Oh, I should check to see if Mabel's selling anything different.
Or maybe her shop exists.
Maybe. Oh, maybe it does. Ooh. What are we doing arting? We should be Animal Crossing thing.
What do you mean? What are we doing arting?
I'm sorry.
We're sustaining ourselves creatively.
I'm
with
an
a project.
Animal Crossing girl now.
Oh.
I don't care about art anymore.
What?
I've given it up.
What?
It's too hard.
Oh. Well, it is fairly difficult. If you're coming on this stream thinking you're gonna be like, man, Doig and Swift, they make things. It must be easy for them.
I'll fool you.
It must be easy for them. I'm gonna go learn how to make it easy for myself. Well, I'm sorry. I'm just sorry.
We're sorry. Just in general. Not related to the point. Just felt like we should apologize.
We're not gonna tell you it's easy to make things, because it's not. Let me tell you, it doesn't stop being difficult.
It's always hard. Even when you're meant to, in air quotes, know what you're doing, it's still really hard, guys. It never stops not being easy.
But that's why we do it.
That's why we're extreme.
That's why we're Sheet Academy
X-Men.
people.
Our special skill is persistence.
Talking's a lot easier when you've only got 4 hours sleep.
Yeah. You should nap after this.
I might nap.
Have a nice one. A nice warm nap. Snuggle up with that cat.
Yeah, so here's a behind the scenes snippet for you. I'm working on the color script for
Michael, spoilers. I'm sorry. That's fine. You can spoil that.
Yeah. By the way,
there's gonna be a color script.
There's gonna be color.
We're sorry if you didn't want to know.
And at the same time, I'm leading the background design and stuff, and so I feel like I was falling behind on design, like doing the backgrounds, because the color script is a separate. It's a separate thing that will feed into. Thank you for the follow.
Thank you for the follow.
For Kalsi. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no, that's not the right. Oh no, that's not the right alert.
I messed up.
Everyone close your eyes, it's not professional. Don't look.
And so yesterday I was just gonna go like, I'm gonna do the designy layout-y thing for a little bit, and then I didn't sleep.
Did you do the thing that you wanted to do?
I did a couple of the things I wanted to do.
Well, congratulations, that's great.
So, your left ear enjoyed that. I fixed that. Why is that trended back to... Oh, I know why it's trended back to that. Because I fixed it on the other theme of Streamlabs.
Yeah. You must just be listening with the left side of your brain, Steiny. By the way, that's a big myth.
What's a big myth?
Left and right side of your brain
How?
dictating your personality. Some people being left-sided and some people being right-sided.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The only thing that was ever talked about scientifically in regards to that was the fact that both sides of the brain are used for different functions. But there was never anything about one person being more tended toward one side or the other side.
Golden Sheepy, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning!
I like that. I'm like, hey, how's it going? You're like,
Hello and welcome. What time is it? It's drawing time. It's our salvation.
It is currently 8:02 a.m. in the Dublin region.
In the Doig Swift household. It's not our house.
Well, it's, it's become
It feels like home.
We've been here a while now.
We've been here a long time. I'm sure Declan's wondering if you'll ever get rid of us. He's tried all kinds of traps and poisons, but none of them have worked.
I'm pretty sure yesterday or something, we were talking about a certain scenario.
You and Declan? Because I don't remember this.
Well, I think he was sitting there, so I think you were part of the conversation.
Oh, okay.
But I won't say what we were talking about because it's not relevant to this, but it was a point of behaviors we were doing if we were to continue doing them, if a certain thing was to continue happening or whatever. I can't remember the context.
I'm very confused. I don't remember.
I'm sorry. It was if Buffy's gonna keep doing this or whatever, but the phrase he said is for however many years, and then he was like, however many years we would be living together, but he went however many years or months we'll be living together, da 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 da, and I was like,
that's a good sign.
I think he was like, whoa, I probably don't want to pressure them into living many more years together.
I
or
see
assuming.
Your game, Declan.
This is funny.
Trying to get us out, are you?
Because we've been here for 2 years now, India.
Yeah, I know. It's really strange to think that we've been here for 2 years. Because when we moved in, it was a temporary arrangement. Or at least it had the potential to be temporary.
Yeah. Now we're stuck here.
I mean, it's great because...
I mean, with COVID and stuff.
Yeah, we get on really well with Declan, so that's awesome. But, it's strange to think time's really flown.
Well, yeah,
Hey,
considering... Rhiannon, thank you for lurking with love.
Yeah, thank you. Love to all your lurkers. Love to all y'all. I see you. Don't hide, I see you. Yeah. You. Sorry, Mike, you were saying something.
I think I'd finished.
Oh, well. Is it Friday?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
What do you mean, oh crap?
It felt like it was only a couple of days ago. It was Friday last week. I suppose technically a couple of days ago it was Friday last week. But it snuck up on me faster than I would have wanted it to. You know when you're working on a project and you have lots of work to do?
India, that's been my life for 2 years now.
And then it's suddenly Friday again and you're like, it was Friday yesterday. Oh no.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm like.
For 2 years now, I've never not had a deadline.
You're welcome.
For an immediately oncoming deadline. You know the satisfaction you feel when you finish a project and you're like, that's done. I wonder what I'll do next. Never had that for 2 years.
Every time we finish a project, there's another one lined up straight after.
Or overlapping.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I mean, I'm super happy.
Yeah.
Have a weekend, woo! I'm excited for the weekend.
Oh, I have talked with my father.
Oh my goodness.
About the weekend. And
are you gonna...
He is up for playing some Bloodborne this Saturday. Let's say it's Saturday. Saturday.
So for those who don't know, Doig and Dad were gonna do some streams.
Yep.
So they could hang out together. And then we're gonna play Bloodborne, which is Daddy Doig's favourite. Which sounds like a wonderful name for a toffee.
Daddy Doig.
Daddy Doig's favourite.
Daddy Doig. Please don't call him Daddy Doig on a stream.
This one's my favourite. Daddy Dog approved. I just said Daddy Dog, which isn't right.
No. My plan was to make him a puppet, like I've got in the bottom left corner.
Does he know that you intend to transform him into a puppet?
I don't think he knows. No.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I can show you the ways.
I'm gonna. We need to find the file where you've got the little bouncing animation of me. It's not in the one that I have access to.
It's not? Okay. No. It might be on my desktop.
I think it's on your desktop. But I was going to make him into a little maroon... Doig Dad, it's the new gaming channel. I'm going to make him into a little maroon bear. And maybe give him a Bloodborne hat.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Like, Doig and Dad has a good ring to it, don't you think?
Yeah.
Doig and Dad.
Doig and Dad.
It's like Battenberg. Except with more Doig. And less cake. What are you guys going to do this weekend? You got any plans?
Gonna play Bloodborne.
I mean, other than watch Doig and Dad play Bloodborne.
I should, while you're answering that, my dad's persona. Oh gosh. I've never talked to my dad about personas ever.
You should see how much he knows about furry culture.
Oh, I'm sure you'll have something insulting to say. He was like, I never liked that anime stuff.
He just doesn't watch it though or understand. It's not like it's coming from a place of him knowing about it and not liking it.
Yeah, no.
It's just coming from a place of he doesn't know about this stuff.
So the context of my dad is he's a gamer. He got me into playing games when I was very small, 3 years old. He put me in front of a game, which I loved. Yeah, Mario. He was Mario. Cool. But he has continued to play games to this day, 30 years later, and his favorite game series is the Dark Souls series and any other game that From Software release. He's on that. He told me he was going to play some Bloodborne to refresh himself so that he is more able to give me guidance. Because on the last stream, if I asked him a question that he couldn't remember the answer to, he just didn't say anything. So
and now I know where you get it from.
Yeah, I have that trait for sure. And he's like, ba-da-da-ba, and I'm like thinking about it, but I don't have an answer. And she's like, did you hear me? And I'm like, uh-huh.
I wait for 5 minutes. And I'm like, Doig, did you hear me?
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah. I should have known. Yeah. Somehow. Whatever, man.
Yeah. I probably get that from him then. I don't know. Maybe that's... I don't know. Is that...
Oh, wow. Steiny says, my brother has a kid now. That kid's gonna grow up with a lot of gaming history at his fingertips. That's so cool.
Nice.
Congratulations to your bro and you.
Yeah, my brother is 10 years younger than I am. So when he turned 3, I gave him my console that I had from when I was 3.
Hand-me-downs.
Yeah.
I'm an only child, so everything I got was new.
Alright, weird flex, but okay.
I was an only child, so everything I got was not touched by anyone else ever.
Because you were so lonely.
I wasn't lonely, I had Sonic.
You had Sonic. That explains a lot.
And my cat.
And your cat.
Animating says, play Animal Crossing and try to do the electricity thing. The electricity thing?
Your challenge. Bish.
Oh, I thought you meant in Animal Crossing. I was like, do you have to hook up electricity in Animal Crossing? Is that a thing?
Oh, that might be a thing, but I don't think that's what
But
Hab was
looking at them
talking
as
about.
separate ideas makes more sense.
India got hand-me-downs from the cat.
It's true. I love my collar.
What do we think about Kim Jong-gi art? Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh my goodness, it's so good. It's very inspirational. It's the kind of stuff I would love to be able to do. And maybe one day I will, because I want to learn more about drawing things in perspective and from interesting angles.
And from memory.
Yeah, what a master. It's incredible.
I think it's really, really cool to see a human do that sort of thing that Kim Jong-gi does.
Humans are amazing.
He's
I keep getting surprised at what humans are able to do physically and mentally.
Yeah, he's kind of like an imaginative printer in the way that he works.
Yeah.
Like he sort of starts from a point sometimes and just extrapolates and builds outward.
It's like he sees it super clearly in his head, or is just a master at improvising with the pencil.
I think he sees it in his head first.
I'm sure people have interviewed him about it. So he might have said what it's like to draw that way. Let's see. Devin. Hey Devin, good morning. I'm the oldest, but my brother is only 2 years younger than me. Our parents would get two of everything so we wouldn't fight over them. That's nice of them. Oh, Steiner, you'll get better. Just keep practicing. We're all going to get better as we go. Yes, as everyone's aim is to get better at the stuff. It's going to happen.
I think figuring out how to intentionally practice skills is a good skill to develop. Where you're like, I know where my weakness is, and then you know how to develop this how to overcome that.
Yeah. I don't really know how to do that other than targeting the project at the certain skills.
I think it might be a case of like question and answer. So, like, you have a question in your art that you want to answer, and then you endeavor to ask the question with an art practice. So, let's say, for instance, you didn't know how the facial features mapped onto a skull.
I don't.
Well, then probably a good practice for that is to draw a skull from reference, and then over the top of your drawing of the skull, draw a face to force yourself to actively map the points.
Also, basically, it's just turning around and facing your fear, facing what you're not good at.
Yeah, like I don't know how.
So in a situation where it's okay to fail.
Yeah, like I don't know how to do this. Rather than necessarily drawing a ton of heads and faces and be like, oh, I guess I'll understand that part eventually. It's like very specifically
target it.
Where does a nose line up on a skull?
Mm-hmm.
How do the mandibles?
The mandibles. Is that the mandibles?
Isn't that a jaw? Your mandible.
I think mandibles are what insects have, dude.
I think that isn't that what the jaw is called?
Is it the jaw called the jaw?
Mandible. The mandible, lower jaw or jawbone, is the largest, strongest, and lowest bone in the human face.
What do you know? I thought it was just something that spiders had. The part which goes.
Well, I guess the moving mouth part is a mandible.
My mandibles.
Like learning how that squashes and stretches the flesh of your face.
Orlando says, is there a womdable? That's what I have.
And it is interesting to consider that woo is just a prefix attached to a man. Like, man, woo man.
Yeah.
As if man is the norm.
Yeah.
And woo is the difference.
Woo! Well, welcome to society, my friend.
Yeah.
How about a kindable? A babyball? Baby bell. Isn't that a delicious type of cheese?
I was watching a stream yesterday. It was called Machinery. So machinery spelled with a U. And they were doing a character commission. And they highlighted a piece of the description that they were given, which said that the character's skin tone was light to light medium. And they were like, what does this even mean?
What is that? Because that could be anything.
Yeah.
Like.
And I was like, well, that means slightly tanned, doesn't it? And then they were like, yeah, but it's a really stupid way to describe.
It's very unhelpful. It's not like, think like this person is Asian or this person, is Spanish or anything.
If you match it to the way that we talk about cooking meat, this is a pale person just uncooked. I'd like my person medium rare.
Yeah, but there was more helpful ways to describe that.
Yeah, it's just interesting. I don't know how I got onto that. How did I get onto that?
Ooh, Devin says, gotta find a way to make it fun. I hated drawing hands until my friend said, hands are where the love is. There's so much you can tell from the subtle things people do with hands, and it became so much more fascinating to me. That's so cool, like reframing the question in your head to make it something that you're really interested in. Being able to
restructure your mindset in order to face a challenge, or overcome a problem, or like face down a challenge. There are different ways to think about approaching the same task.
Mm-hmm.
Having that ability to become positive in your engagement with the struggle is yeah.
It's so important.
This is my chance to improve drawing hands. Oh my god, I'm going to seize this opportunity. It fills you with a lot more determination than I have to draw hands.
I get to draw hands instead of I have to draw hands. It reminds me of something that the Game Grumps were talking about in one of their episodes. Sorry to drop in the Game Grumps again, because that's something I do a lot.
Oh my god, Dan and Aaron!
Yeah! But they were talking about, feeling low and depression and such.
As you do.
Yeah, as I sometimes do. And Dan was saying that it's so much a mindset thing because he was seeing like recording stuff as work. And on his schedule he had, I have to work this day from this time to this time. And just writing on his calendar, play games with Aaron instead of work. Yeah. Reframed it in his mind when he looked at it every time, to the point where he was like, I feel much better about it now simply because of the words I used to describe it.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, thinking about getting to draw hands instead of having to draw hands, like, it makes a big difference. It's a small change that makes a big difference to the way that you see and feel about things.
I think here's a hot topic for you. I see art advice often where there's almost two schools of thought. There is like, you have to study all these things to get good, and then once you know those, then you can draw what you want to draw. And then there's another school of thought which is like, ignore all that and just draw what you want to do and just go from there. Like that stuff doesn't matter. There's almost like this spectrum of like purists and enthusiasts. And I think a nice balance in the middle is kind of what I would that's what I would subscribe to.
More howdy.
But I think a lot of it is like the thought and feeling that you need to study all of this mountain of topics and overcome them, and then the rest of your artistic journey is like on the other side of the mountain. Whereas I try to think of it like,
well, that's not true.
No,
because you'll never be done. You'll never be over a mountain. It won't be like, oh, I've looked at figures now. I never need to look at them again. I'm done with that.
I've studied anatomy and now I have mastered it.
Now I know hands, so I don't need to look at them anymore.
Yeah. If we drop the sassy tone there, the way I kind of see it is that if you're on an art path, then you're on a journey, and the folks that join you on that journey are these fundamentals that are with you along the whole way, like hitchhikers.
So they're not mountains, they're friends.
Yeah.
They're mountaineers who will help you climb. Because they're like, don't put your foot there, that's stupid. That's not a rock, that's a goat. And you're like, oh, thank you. Thank you, Mountaineer Fundamental.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like helpful guides through the rest of your journey that you want to become part of your artistic journey family.
Yeah. They're tools in your tool belt. They'll help you climb higher up the never-ending mountain that is art.
Yeah. Anyone have any thoughts on that?
They see those who draw whatever they want are sure going to get frustrated. Those who say who draw whatever they want are sure going to get frustrated. Look at Miyazaki, he got stressed out not working to get good after he retired. He got back into it. Miyazaki is one of the examples I hold up when people are like, I'm too old to get into art. And it's like, this dude is getting into art still, and he's like 80. So, hujjar wisht.
Hujjar wisht.
If you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. And you don't need an excuse not to, other than not wanting to. Not wanting to is fine.
You'll become a ghoul and you'll still be drawing. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope that I die with a pencil in my hand.
I think that
and porn on my drawing board.
I'm not even going to engage with that. But you have thrown me off the stride of what I was going to say.
You're welcome.
About frustration.
Mountains.
Nah, it's gone.
You were talking about how people see art fundamentals as something to overcome.
Yeah. I think people get frustrated when they are like attempting to draw something and it's not turning out well. I think it can be discouraging. And like that, I think that's the couple of solutions that people have come up with, is either to be like, well, don't worry about it. And that can be good advice, but it's not a sustainable advice, you know? Like in the moment, it can be like, okay, I'm dropping my my high judgment of my like what I'm doing right now, and I'm just gonna have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Is good short-term advice, because you're like you release the pressure of having it have to be good, and then you're just drawing for the pure enjoyment of it. That's really important to hold on to. But if you do that every single time you encounter a problem, then you're just stuck at this wall of like, I'm just gonna draw what I want. I'm not gonna study. Whereas if you couple it with, it doesn't matter if this drawing is terrible, but I'm gonna try and draw something I'm not comfortable with, or I'm gonna try drawing, figures in ways that I've never tried before, and I'm not gonna worry about the results. I'm just gonna like, I think that's it. If you can couple it with like, I don't care how good this drawing is going to be, but I'm still going to try and do something I haven't done before. That's like the 2 ingredients for self-improvement.
Yeah. And it's uncomfortable to do because artists who do it, who are used to being able to draw certain things well, it's uncomfortable to draw something that comes out really bad and looking really lame that you don't like at all. You know? Because you feel like you should be good at all aspects of art because you're older and you've been doing it for a while. But that's not true. Like, you have to kind of embrace the fact that you're not going to be good at everything, but if you want to improve in those things, you're going to have to push through being bad at them.
Yeah.
Even though it might be tempting to be like, this is coming out really badly, I'm just going to go back to my comfort zone of drawing like cute girls, for example, is my comfort zone.
Well, I think that's where when you come across artists who are like, I'm following the advice of drawing every day, I'm drawing as much as I can, and they're drawing a lot, but they're moving sideways, you know?
Well, you mean like, they're not really improving?
Yeah, because they've found a pattern that they found in like a recipe that works for them, and they're following the recipe almost like every time.
Well, I think that happens a lot when people don't think about what they're drawing as well. Like, more than just not wanting, like, not really bothering about improving or tackling things that are out of your comfort zone. If people practice every day, but the practice has no thought behind it, they're just like, well, here go my hours of drawing. Okay, I've done the hours of drawing, now I'm going to get better.
Yeah.
If you're not actually thinking about the fact that you're trying to get better at it, then you're not going to get better at it.
You're certainly only going to make like small increment till like you'll improve a little bit.
Like, just like grabbing a violin and playing some random notes every day, and then being like, well, I've been doing 10 minutes a day. Why am I not better? You know, you have to actually have something that you're aiming to do, aiming to make.
I don't mean to be ranty. Yo, Kuya, how's it going?
Hey, Kuya. Good morning. How you? How's it going? How's the partner push going? Any word yet? I'm sorry, I'm probably going to ask you that every time.
We're intrigued.
Oh, that's good, Rolando. If you're doing well, then that's great. Oh, not many viewers today. Oh, I'm sorry.
Anime Tunings comes in with a good question. What advice do you have for when we get intimidated by the thing we're trying to study that we can't even start?
Just gotta do it, man. You just gotta start. Even if you're intimidated. Just do it. Do it badly. Know that you're going to do it badly. Don't care about doing it badly. Do it badly deliberately just to break...
Do it badly deliberately.
Yeah, just to break the wall and tell yourself it's okay.
I think... Oh, I like that advice. Like, lean into the failure.
Sadie says, get angry.
Like, that's what we mean about if you change your mindset, you are powerful. Because if you were so self-conscious and judgmental about your art, you're gonna freeze up.
Yeah, you're gonna be too scared to try anything new because the expectation on you to do something super well that you've put on yourself and that you might feel from other people is gonna stop you from like pushing out of your comfort zone and trying things that you're not gonna be great at the first time.
Yeah. So I think being able to embrace the enjoyment of failing. I know it sounds like oddly disparate, like it doesn't make sense, but think about a scenario, or like a social scenario. I know we all have to imagine those now, but imagine you have to enter a room.
No!
And there's like 500 people in there. And you imagine that they're all looking at the door. And you enter and they all see you. The reality is no one's looking at the door, or like 20 people are looking at the door, and the 20 people that are looking at the door are probably your friends because you've texted them in advance and said you're arriving and they're expecting you.
Or they're looking at the door, but they don't really care.
Yeah.
They're just looking out because it's opening.
Yeah. It's that same feeling of like, it doesn't matter what those 500 people think or do. You've entered the room. It's fine. I think it's that where like, you feel like if you do something, you're going to see it, other people are going to see it, you're going to be judged on it forever, and it's just not true. Signy's saying that because of his near-death experience, he realizes that like holding back from doing things, just it doesn't matter, he's just going to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it really is just not worth it, you know? It doesn't matter so much what other people think. What matters is whether you've got to do things that you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, have you done something creatively satisfying for yourself? Doing what you think other people want to see the entire time is a great way to be unhappy with your work.
Like, I would say, in the context of my scenario where it's like there's 500 people, just enter, look for your friends, show up to them, and have fun. And in the same way of like, if you feel like you're trying like making art to like get an audience and no one seems to be responding to it, forget all that. Find a peer group, find friends who are doing the same thing.
And how do you find those friends? You find them by doing the thing that you want to do anyway.
Yeah.
Because people who like that kind of stuff will naturally gravitate towards it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steiny, it's a good attitude. Like, the only person holding you back is yourself.
Oh, that's a good thing to realize.
It's true. It's the same with anything. Like, we don't do things because society says we shouldn't. But if it's something that we really feel strongly like is something that we should be doing, then really it's up to us.
Yeah, like
it's the same with art. Like, a lot of people wait for permission from other artists, or I don't know, from jobs or whoever's in their life. They wait for permission to start doing something. They wait till they're good enough.
Well, we set education up in that way a little bit.
Yeah.
I've been in classes where it's like, hey, I'm asking you a question. They'll be like, oh no, we're going to cover that in week 4. You're like, okay, I get that for efficiency because you've already got a lecture planned out. Mm-hmm. But I'm ready for that step now. And that's where you're like, I'm just going to Google that.
Yep, that's when you realize that you can just have the same access to the books that your teacher is teaching you from. And that they are also just people who know things that you also now know. And that there's not much between people. We put people and knowledge and skills on pedestals a lot without realizing how close we are to them. Like, when we were taught animation in university, I was taught by someone who used to be security in a prison who'd never animated before, and who was teaching us out of the Richard Williams survival kit. And it's like, well, it's great that that course existed and that I could learn there, but also the knowledge that this person is literally reading to us from a book. I can just go to the library and get that book and have as much knowledge as a teacher.
Or have access to as much knowledge as the teacher does.
Exactly. Like with the internet, with books, we all have as much knowledge as a teacher does, or we have access to it if we are willing to put in the time. So I don't think a lot of artists wait for permission, and I don't think you need to. You are ready to do the thing you want to do now, and through doing it, you will learn like what you're not, good at, or what you need to work on next.
Yeah.
Kurzek, thank you so much for continuing the gift sub. That's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
That means such a lot.
I was in Kurzik Extreme yesterday. It was really cool. They were working on a Steven Universe piece.
Kurzak.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love Steven U. And Cat Noah Art, thank you so much for the follow.
Yo, hello.
Very, very much appreciated. Welcome to the stream. Habbo says sometimes people get knowledge from mystical sources where they animate in PowerPoint. I still remember that when Habbo was telling us that at his college they were trying to teach him to use PowerPoint to animate. That's not the software you should be using. I mean, software doesn't matter to an extent. But it matters to the extent where you shouldn't be using PowerPoint.
Yeah. Tools don't matter. Artist's use of tools matters.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, it helps if you're using an animation software, but it doesn't matter which animation software you're using.
Frustrator says, when I was young, I just copied other artists' styles, tried to anyway, over and over again until I didn't have to anymore. And I kind of carved out my own style. Probably the least efficient way to get good, but it worked for me. Hey, I do that even now. I think it is quite a good way to get good. Or at least to find your style. Because my style is like a jumble of all the things I used to draw when I was younger. Sonic the Hedgehog and Jonah Vasquez drawings, Disney stuff, anime. I think it's one of the things I find most fun is trying to experiment with different styles.
Well, if you are on an animation production, there's a model sheet and a style guide that you better know how to follow, so you stay on model. Like,
so it's good practice professionally. Yeah,
drawing in a style is a skill that you can develop by through practice. I think a lot of people get caught up in like discovering their style, which I think
you don't need to discover it. You have it. You can't get rid of it.
Yeah, your style of drawing is just there.
Good luck.
It's omnipresent.
Yeah, good luck drawing without your style.
It's more difficult to lose a style than find a style.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It really is, yeah. Like, a lot of the times I can look at someone's drawing and tell you who drew it. Out of our friends. Just because it's just the way you draw, you know? It's not something you really have to consciously worry about. Just do what is fun to you.
Yeah.
And thank you very much, Advin FKDJ, for the follow. I don't know how to say that, so I did my best.
That sounds like someone sat on the keyboard.
It sounds like it might be a cat.
Yeah.
Because that's what Buffy says when she types into Discord.
But yeah, emulation is a good way to try and figure out why artists draw in the way they do from a superficial level, where you're like coming from the outside in.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was just like looking in the chat, and yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Is Habbo says, I don't know if I have a style. I keep changing how I draw things based on what I see from other artists. And Steiny's like, you definitely have a style. And Habbo, I can say also, you definitely have a style.
Yeah.
Mike and I can look at any animation and see if it's yours. And it's not so much that you draw anything in particular a certain way. It's more the expressions and such that your characters make are very Habbo.
It's 1,000 tiny threads interwoven into the way that you create things.
Yeah.
It's not like a rule set or like any one identifying feature.
You have a style with your spacing and timing as well. That is really nice.
It's all those tiny creative decisions that you make. That are inherent to you making it.
You wish you could see. Oh, it's very cool, Avo. It's very cool. Oh, that's really sweet, Steiny. Danny says it's harder for one in the midst of the trees to see the forest, but the others on the outside not so much. Just focus on the trees and know you grow a brilliant forest. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
You're the sweetest. What a nice metaphor.
Sorry, I just imagined a scenario of being asked, like, how did you find your style, or how do I find my style? And I'd be like, here's a piece of paper, draw something, and then I'll point it and go, there it is.
Yeah, I guess it's not helpful. People are looking for something really distinct. I think a lot of the time when people are asking about how do I find my style, they're like, should I draw triangular eyes so everyone knows it's me because they have triangular eyes? And should I draw like super spiky hair and use this kind of line weighting? And it's like you're thinking about it too much. Just use the things that you enjoy using, that make you excited, that you've kind of adopted from other styles into your art naturally. I
think art style has become synonymous with brand. We live in an age now where an artist is kind of linked to their brand in a way. Like social media has kind of made those two things like converge like this really I'm not going to say sinister sinister Venn diagram, because there's purposes to your art. There's self-expression, and then there is like an attempt to get recognition. And in the age that we're in now, where like you can put art out on social media and people can recognize you for it, that desire for recognition can fuel the search for having this identity through your art, like this brand that people can recognize you for. But if you're trying to manufacture that, you're putting a lot of time and energy and thought into something that you can fabricate.
Yeah. And
like, I'm not going to say that doesn't work. I know that there are definitely trends in art styles out there that are aesthetically popular, and that by emulating those, you're going to tap into the audiences that already exist for those. But what you're going to do is you're going to traverse the same worn path through a forest that other artists before you have done, and you're not necessarily going to stumble on the things that really resonate with you.
And also, if you gain these I don't know what to call them, admirers through doing this style, there's no incentive for you to experiment outside of that style, because you're going to feel like if you stop drawing in that way, you're going to lose the people who are there for that.
So I think a lot of the questions that come like, how do I find my style, is how do I craft my brand identity? They're just thinking about it in a more vague, general way. Like, when you see like musical artists who make an album that sounds nothing like what they've done before, you're like, oh man, they've changed their sound and stuff. It's like, yeah. They've experimented, because they are.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for that. When musical artists go completely the other way with something, and I'm like, oh, it's not for me, I don't like it as much anymore, but I really like that they have the guts to go and do something different.
Yeah, you're going to find there's a new NSB album today?
Today? Really? I didn't know that.
What? Ah, shit.
You think we should know stuff like that?
Yeah.
Orlando loves Capcom, breathes Capcom. Capcom's so good. Capcom employ amazing artists.
They were certainly releasing, I assume, music videos from the new album, or from songs from the new album.
That latest one was great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Don't know what we're talking about, and I haven't for a while. That one that has Kiss from a Rose.
Is it the Dan Avidan Super Guitar Bros album? That could be. That could be the one. Yeah. Oh, I want to hear that. Somebody call the cops. We have 911 followers.
Whoa! The authorities are here. Everybody get into the cop car. Squeeze in. We're taking you downtown. Okay, Kurzek's call shotgun. No problem.
All right.
The rest of you get behind the mesh.
Get back. Get back.
Good morning, George. How are you doing? What's shaking with you?
Yeah, how's it going, man? I saw you were doing that piece with the stargazer with the telescope. How's that going? I see these things. I do flybys on feedback channel.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a big cop car. The cops are also clowns. They're cop clowns.
Cop clowns. It's a conceptual thing, you know? Gotta open your mind to the possibility of the...
But Mike, what if I have a tiny mind?
Then you gotta expand it with jelly beans.
By paying Tom Nook.
Yeah. You need to pay Tom Nook to give you a new room in your mind. The streams went kind of like into, you know, hopefully motivating territory. I think a lot of you already know the advice we're giving now.
Mook NTK, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Welcome.
you for the follow.
Welcome to the Animation Breakfast Club.
Well, thank you for the follow. Ooh. Hello.
For just the small loan of 500,000 bells, you too can have your mind opened. Whatever that means.
Jackal Wolf Girl.
Welcome to the Animation Breakfast Club.
Thank you very much. Hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well.
It is fairly classic Habbo. I mean, nothing has really changed my mindset on how to approach studying.
Yeah, it's true. I'm very sorry for people who have been here before or have known us for many years, because you're hearing the same thing again and again. Our mindsets on it haven't really changed that much. They've evolved a little bit, thanks to the people we've met who have given us advice too. But yeah, you've probably been hearing this for a good few years now. The cop car's new though.
The cop car is new, yeah.
Yeah. Never had to arrest anyone before.
You're loving the conversation and the mood from the stream. Do you have any set days where you stream? We do. Let me just show you the starting screen. So we stream on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at around about this time. We usually start at 7:30 a.m. our time, which was about an hour and a bit ago. And we do that every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for this Animation Breakfast Club.
We do! And then sometimes we stream Tuesdays and Thursdays, gaming stuff, but we don't know how permanent that's going to be. That might have just been the last couple of weeks because Animal Crossing came out.
Savio, hey, how's it going, dude?
Savio, how you doing, man? How's your morning been?
I think one of our mandates that we strive to do is to help and encourage and inspire people to realize that they have what they need to make the things that they want to make, and whether we can offer like encouragement or share how we have overcome the same sort of struggles. That's what we're kind of building these streams around.
Yeah. We want to unlock your hidden potential. Unlock it. You're from a small town in Brazil and you don't have any people who draw or animate. It's kind of hard understanding or learning alone. Yeah. I'm really happy that we have the internet now. I think a lot of people are in similar positions where locally around them there's not very many people interested in the same kind of thing. So it's really, really cool to be able to come online on Twitch or YouTube and see other people animating and chatting.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
It's wonderful that we can do that. And yeah, you're welcome in our streams anytime you want to hang out and chat about animation. You are most welcome. I know it can be tough when there's no one really around you who's interested in the same things.
Yeah, finding peers is really important.
You're doing some character design, Savio. That's awesome. I hope they're going well.
Kurzik says, I personally definitely feel more like pushing myself more ever since joining these streams. Haven't had that many chances to actually do that too. You do that though.
You can do it.
What do you feel is preventing you from actively doing that? What's holding you back? What can we figure out together?
What can we smite for you?
Are we doing a full animation of the book or just a bit of it? We're doing a bit of it.
A very small bit of it. 2 panels, to be exact. Because otherwise we'd be here all year.
Yeah,
doing the same animation.
India is going to be working on the next part of the books later this year. Once we wrap on the current project that we're doing with Knights, India's plan is to write and draw the next part of Girl in the Glim. And so we're doing this as a way to help raise awareness for the project. If we can put this out and have a little animated teaser.
Yeah. Because at that time, I'll be working on the book full time, which means I won't be able to be supporting us with Knight's work. Which means that Mike will be the only one who will be actually bringing in money with the work.
Yellow.
So we're really hoping that if we raise awareness for it and make a cool little trailer, we might be able to increase our Patreon reach, and hopefully that will help us squeeze through that time financially.
That's the thinking anyway.
Yeah. Oh, Steiny, feel no pressure to put down any more money. You've been supporting us for a super long time. And also, the most important thing to us is that you guys take care of yourselves first.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
especially during what's happening.
Yeah. So, please make sure that you guys look after yourselves. We will be good. We will be fine. We will be grand.
Yeah, we're just making steps towards. Plus, it's we're just making steps towards trying to prepare ourselves for that period. I was going to say something else and then I forgot what I was going to say. That was it. Yeah, plus it's really nice to be able to work on Glim again.
Yeah, it is. I've missed it. Patrick Stannard did a piece of Glim art the other day. I almost pooped my pants.
Yeah, he did a drawing of Jove, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Aww.
Patrick's one of my favourite artists, so I was like, wow, that is awesome. I am excited. I want to work on the book more. Jove, best character. He is one of my favourites, actually, yeah. I mean, they're all my favourites, so it's kind of difficult.
For those of you who... raise your hands if you don't know what Girl in the Glim is.
Ah, fair enough, yeah. I realise that there are a couple of new people. It's a graphic novel that I wrote and drew and Mike coloured and was emotional support and helped me by sitting and hearing my waffles about the story.
Okay, Jackal Wolf Girl says, I got a question. How long does it take to create the animation and comic for your project? And how difficult is it to create a story for a project? I tried to create my own comic, but I lost motivation for it and feel like I'm not good enough to create and complete it.
Well, first of all, you're definitely good enough to create and complete it. So let me just start by telling you that you have everything you need. You are definitely good enough. Don't worry, you can do it. Making the comic took about 6 weeks because we were really rushing through it. It was kind of a crazy 6 weeks. It's 60 pages long. I wouldn't do that again. Do it in that amount of time. We did that because we had to.
Yeah, the reason for that was that we had booked ourselves a table at a convention, and we were trying to complete the book before the print deadline for getting the books on time to debut it at that convention. So the motivation for us was accountability. Accountability has a lot of power to help keep you motivated, because it's an external source of just encouragement to see it through. So let's say you want to work on this comic. Making a big jump to claiming or like aiming to debut it at an event, that's a lot of pressure. But you could tell a particular friend or someone you trust to just ask you about it every so often, maybe once a week, maybe it could be like twice a week, something like that. And every time they ask, the expectation there would be that you would show them your progress and they would have an invested interest in what you're doing, which would create a scenario where every week you want, every time in anticipation for them asking you about it, you want to be able to show something or talk about what you've done. That small routine, that habit that you can build, is a good way to keep motivated in what you're trying to do.
I think also, just to chime in here, Girl in the Glim, the first book, is 60 pages long, and I think a lot of people, when they start off, try to do like a webcomic, which is ongoing forever. So I'd recommend, I'm not sure what your current comic project's like, but I'd recommend doing something that has a set page count that you can aim for, so that you don't get demotivated by just how much there is and feeling like you have to keep it up forever. And then I'd also say building habits, like Mike said, is really important. So just do a little bit on it every day, and schedule yourself. Like, make a schedule of how much progress you want to make on it each week. And don't make it anything crazy, but try to keep to it, you know? Even if it's just like 1 page or 2 pages. And again, daily progress is really important, because it means that you get momentum. So you start that ball rolling, and it becomes easier to keep it rolling because it has a momentum of its own. Whereas if you leave it to the end of the week every week and then try and do it all in one night, it's going to feel like a massive obligation that you've been putting off. And again, like we said earlier, it's all about how you frame the mindset of it. You don't want it to feel like it's a big work obligation that you have to do. You want it to feel like something that you get to do.
Yeah, you could think about the excitement that you could have showing your friend. Oh, I can't wait to show them this character design. I can't wait to share this story point because I'm really excited about it. Or, oh, I figured out how I'm going to introduce this character. Or, I have an idea for this setting, but I'm not quite sure where to do this. I can ask it for advice about that.
Yeah.
You can be excited about sharing the struggle as well. Don't feel like you have to accomplish everything and then tell the person you trust. It can be, I haven't decided the name for this character, and how you could have a conversation about that. Like, I was going to say something that was in relation. What did you just talk about, India?
I was talking about even a routine.
Routine. That was it. That was the idea I had, was that if you have an ambition, or you have a goal that you're aiming for, get it out of your head somehow. Like, put it down on paper so you can see it, or tell a friend so that someone outside of yourself knows about it. Put it out into the universe somehow so that it's not locked up in your head, I think is a good way of like taking a step towards realizing it. Like say you have goals, write down a huge list of all your goals and then look at the list and see which ones like you really want to do. I think I got that advice, that list thing from an interview I heard with Dan Abadan.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying like whenever he was feeling like he didn't really know what he was going to do next, he would take 15 minutes or something, or 10 minutes, and he would write down like just whatever came into his head. The trick is just not to think, and just write down, and then when you look at the list and then pare it down, the things that the things on the list that your eye keeps coming back to, or like the things that you want to remain, or you start crossing things off, are the things that you want to do next, and then you build a plan around those. That's a separate piece of advice, but getting it outside of your own head is like one of the best first steps of figuring out how to move toward it.
I also just want to say, because you asked about story and how hard story is, I just want to say story is incredibly hard. I think story is maybe the hardest thing you have to do, because things often feel like they work well story-wise inside your head until you start trying to write them down and actually craft them into something, and then you see all the holes in it suddenly. Story is immensely difficult, so don't feel bad for having trouble with it, because I definitely have trouble with it all the time. It's really hard. Sometimes you just have to go ahead with what the best you can do, even if it's not perfect. Sometimes it's better to make something which has a few holes in it than to agonize over it for another year, going around in circles trying to find a solution. Because this won't be the last thing you make, but this is the best thing that you will make right now. So you might as well make it.
George asked, how long did you spend working on the story and refining it? Was that in the 6 weeks?
No.
No,
It was not. So Girl in the Glim is an idea that I came up with on a course that I took. I took a character design course, and it was extremely good. It was from the Oatley Academy, and the course was called It's Alive. And the thought behind the course was to approach character design from a story standpoint rather than just from a visual standpoint. So the things that the course aimed to teach us really was to know the purpose we were designing the character for, and to understand the character before designing them, so that we could design them with that in mind and design something that was very intentional. And so for one of the weeks we had to come up with like a kids show idea, and I came up with an animated series, Girl in the Glim, with all the characters and everything. So that was the seed that started it. Of course, I knew I couldn't make an animated series on my own, so it kind of evolved into a thought of a graphic novel or a series of graphic novels. And from there, I was thinking about that story for about a year or so, trying to write it down, refine it. Like Mike will tell you that there were several times I thought I had the story sorted out, and then I ended up finding something I didn't think was working. And there were lots and lots of discussions Mike and I had, but I was like, this thing isn't working, I don't know what to do about that. We had a ton of meetings trying to figure stuff out, where we would come up with completely new ideas and put them into the story. So that took a long time.
Yeah.
And I never really felt ready to do it. It was more just the fact that we had booked the table that we wanted to debut the comic at, that I had to start making it. We were having like breakthroughs with the story though, right up until like a month before I was making it.
Yeah, when things started to kind of gel and solidify.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that time. I think around that time, it was April 2017, and we took a break. Your mum gave us a gift of staying in a hotel in an area of Dublin.
That's exactly the time that I was thinking about too.
Yeah, because I remember walking and we were figuring out stuff to do with the Glim in particular, and the nature of things, and like how their kind of origins tied into the theme of the story you were trying to tell. And I thought that was really good, like back and forth conversation, conceptual stuff.
Well, that was one of the times we had a big breakthrough with understanding like the Glim and the Glums and what they want.
I'm just going to go back in the chat a little bit because I just want to see what Steiny was saying about his own experience.
Yeah.
You're trying to encourage your brother into finishing something, but it's been difficult to get him to finish things. Yeah, if you find resistance in someone, it's a difficult thing to pull out from someone to get them to do the thing that they seem to want to do. My hope is to do the comic of the Blind King in about 50 pages.
Nice.
And I'll just start with the first 10 after the minute film. You got a lot of things that you're aiming towards, Steiny, which is cool. Like if you see them as progressive steps forward, you make one thing, you make the next thing, rather than feeling like doing it all at once. If there's one thing I can suggest, don't try to write in a vacuum. Get advice, share it with people, and do anything to get someone else even lightly involved. Yeah, I think what India was saying there is that the story can feel solid in your head until you have to explain it, and all of the little like holes and inconsistencies that you patch over by assuming that you will like figure it out, or like you kind of have a sense of it reveal themselves through that process. You hung 85 pages on your wall so that you could put the script away and take a break. I remember you doing that. It's really cool, like having that tangible thing, that proof that you have created is a really powerful moment. I like that you did that. Savio uses Google to write down whenever they get an idea so they can go over them. That's a good practice.
Yeah, that is.
I've been working in kinematic for 3 years in circles. Okay, that's cool to know, Rolando. I think you invited me to that, or at least I might take a look at it. Okay, you're very welcome, Jacka Wolfgall. I hope this is helping you. Feel free to ask us questions like this. We're very enthusiastic about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it gives us stuff to blather about in the stream, which we appreciate.
Animatunings asks, can you give an example of a thing that wasn't working? Just curious what kind of things those can be. Like things not making sense in the world.
Yeah.
I think you can answer that without getting too specific.
Can I? There's
well,
so much stuff.
It's up to you.
Can you think of a particular example, Mike?
Well, here's a word. Here's a concept I will throw out to you. This is from being taught by Brian.
Oh, Brian McDonald.
Brian McDonald. If you hear us giving story advice, a lot of it is rooted in the teachings that he has. He has a book called The Golden Theme and another one.
Invisible Ink.
The theme is like your central structure in your story.
It's Brian calls it the armature because it's, if you think of it in claymation terms, it's what everything else is building on top of. It's the skeleton of your story.
Oh, sweet. Abbo's been reading the book. Amazing. He uses a word which is appropriate. What is appropriate to the story that you are telling? Because I think a lot of people gravitate towards things like cool and exciting and dramatic and all of these really like positive, appealing aspects of it. But what's really important is what is appropriate for the story that you are telling in that moment.
Yeah. What is going to deliver the message? Because that's what the theme is. So if you ask someone what's the theme of your story, a lot of the time they'll say love or hate or revenge. But in terms of the way that Brian McDonald's talking about it, that's not what a theme is as defined by him. What Brian McDonald says a theme is is it's a statement. It's a statement that can be proven true or untrue, and will be proven true or untrue through your story. And each character is a different viewpoint or aspect of that. So, for example, let's see, no fate but that which we make is the theme of Terminator. Right? Mm-hmm. So every character in Terminator has a viewpoint on that, or represents a viewpoint on that.
Yeah. And
everything comes down to that. That story is about that. Or to use Jaws as an example, because that's one that I'm very familiar with. To face your fear is to conquer your fear. In that, it's about this dude who's afraid of the water. So the water is represented by giving the water teeth, which is Jaws.
Yeah.
And at the end, he faces Jaws, and I think his final line of the movie is, I used to be afraid of the water. So yeah, it's a movie about a giant shark, but when that movie was being written, it was being written theme first. So in terms of things not working, there are a lot of things with Girl in the Glim that I wanted to have in, or thought felt right, but didn't line up with the theme. So a lot of the discussions Mike and I were having was, this is the theme. How do we say this? Like, how do we say it in the plainest way possible? How is this demonstrating the theme? How does that tie into the theme?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to think of something I could, an example I could give you of one of the things that was working, because there's a lot of stuff. Like, almost every single thing in the story has been through the ringer in terms of us discussing if it should be that way or not. Everything from like really simple stuff like, does the layout of the school even make sense? Where is she in this scene?
Yeah.
Where is the library in relation to her classroom? How does this layout of the school make sense? To things like Midge's character. Should she talk? Like, when the story started out, Midge was a silent protagonist. But because Midge's struggle is with kind of loneliness in a certain way, she was going to have to spend a lot of the time alone, and the reader was going to have to spend a lot of time with her. And her companion, the Glim, also doesn't talk.
I mean,
so
it's funny you say that, but like one of my favorite pages from it is a wordless. She doesn't talk to herself.
Yeah.
It's page 27,
mm-hmm.
and it's where she returns home, and that page is one of my absolute favorites, where you just get to, you spend all this time with Midge when she's not properly alone,
mm-hmm.
and then this is the point in the story where she is just like, she's just being Midge.
Yeah.
But Midge working through all the problems she's faced so far.
Yeah.
She's like, it's
still very much a story where I don't want to use dialogue if it's not necessary.
Let me show that page.
And she's still a very quiet character, but the difference between being a quiet character and a character who is literally mute,
yeah,
is that I need her to build relationships through talking.
Girl in the Glim. I think I have a version of it in Ass's pages.
Yeah, mainly because actually one of the moments I really, really want at the end of the story is dependent upon silence being enforced, and if she's not silent anyway, then that really work.
Are we okay?
Oh, Steiny, that was really nice. And yeah, I'd be like, we should do more of that. I also miss having time to like hang out and chat.
Okay. I think my computer trying to find this image.
It's destroyed your computer.
Yeah. Okay. This is the page I was talking about, where you just get to spend time with the character. I just really liked what you did with this. Like this. Oh, come on.
Thank you.
No, don't. I wanted to zoom, and it.
Hey, Board Kill Me, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Yo, that's awesome. Thanks for saying. Yeah, we love working on them. The teams are amazing. That Night Table's an amazing company. I love working with them. I'm excited for what's coming next.
Like look at the use that India's made of showing Midge in context.
Just be nice about me.
Well, yeah,
while I'm here,
like,
it makes me feel awkward.
This, the theme of this page, the theme of this page is showing that Midge is alone in a new house. So, what India has done is put Midge small in these large panels that they leave space for her parents to be there, but her parents are absent. So the panel on the very previous page is like, "Yo, Midge, we're working late. Get food for yourself." Or the implied thing is like, "Get food for yourself. We'll be back later." Now Midge just went through her first day of school. Yeah, man, she left the fridge open. She's irresponsible. That's Midge. So there, very first panel. She arrives home. They've just moved in. The place is empty. You've got this kind of foreboding red light that sort of filters its way through. She's still meaning to like unpack her room. And she's just being herself. She doesn't have to like pretend anymore that she's okay. And then India's kind of rounded it out with her like thinking about what she wants to do, and then she feels like, okay, I'm gonna put away my things and put up my stars and get ready for bed. I'm gonna make this space my own. I'm gonna feel more comfortable here. I just love. There's so much like visual storytelling and showing, not telling, that you can do in comics and animation that I really enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm influenced a lot by animation, by the fact that the cartoons I used to watch as a kid had no speech in them. Like, I used to watch a lot of Tom and Jerry and Looney Tunes and stuff. And a lot of the time, those cartoons were kind of just silent. And the characters would pantomime out what was happening.
Okay, this is a money bags Doig moment.
Oh no, here we go. What?
It's an okay one.
Is it?
It's a light one. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat just to call myself out.
What is it?
We made the decision yesterday that we're going to close our Big Cartel store.
Oh yeah.
Because we don't want to contribute to the postal services or like delivery people having to deliver our stuff. In light of that, though, we have kept a very particular item on the store open, and that's our digital version of Girl in the Glim, because that doesn't involve
require delivery.
Doesn't require posting it. It's just the PDF that you're able to download and read and enjoy.
Is it also discounted?
I remember doing that.
Should probably do that.
Let me check.
But yeah, basically, we got a couple of orders at the beginning of this virus stuff, and we haven't been able to ship them out because we don't want to go outside to the post office with all this stuff going on. We're worried about either becoming carriers or receiving it from people. So we had to send them emails, and we've decided that because of that, we should make sure that the items that would need posting on the shop are temporarily disabled until the world can get a handle on what's happening.
Yeah. So in light in the COVID and everything, we have we've discounted Girl in the Glim, the digital copy, and it's now €5 on our store. Thank you for the follow, Enrico.
Oh, thanks, Frustrator. I'm really happy that that moment felt like it landed to you. I do that all the time. I'm like, when I next see this person, I'm going to say that. Or I'm going to be really cool in that moment and do this. And then I'm too scared to do it and I don't do it. So I wanted to show that.
Yeah, it's a 60-page graphic novel. Just for context.
And it's book 1. So one thing to note is it's not a complete story. It is part 1.
Yeah. But if you're going to be coming back to the streams and whatever, we're going to be working on this. We're going to ask whether we can. We're going to ask what we can show, what we're allowed to both show and not show as well.
Yes. Because it's been picked up by a publisher. So while I'm working on it, I'll have to make sure that it's okay with them that I'm showing stuff from the book. I suspect it will be, which will be nice.
Yeah, I hope so.
How much of the full arc do I have figured out? I have the broad strokes of a story completely figured out. So I know what's going to happen. And I know how the story's going to go and how it's going to end and everything. I've planned that all out. The thing that I haven't planned out is exactly how it's going to happen in terms of the thumbnailing of everything.
Yeah, you figured out what and why. You just haven't figured out how.
Yeah, I haven't figured out how to tell the story visually.
Link, bring the link.
Bring the link.
Oh, I am. I'm behind the scenes. Let me.
One story tip I was given that I'll always remember going through with the Girl in the Glim story is there's a 7-act story structure that you can use, and it's extremely broad and loose, but it's also extremely helpful because what it does is it forces you to create a story that links together using because of instead of and then. So it means that everything becomes connected and everything has a causal link, which is really important in storytelling. So you could say a man went to the shop and then the sun exploded and then he was flying and then a car appeared and then he was in a swimming pool. But you can't say a man went to a shop because the sun exploded because he was flying. That doesn't make any sense. So it forces you to make sure that your story is following on logically. You know, whenever a kid tells a story, they're always like, and then. So one of the things you learn...
And then you're like, get to the point, kid.
Yeah,
why are you telling me this? And they're like, I'm just letting you know about my day. Ah!
So one of the things that you learn when trying to figure out this whole storytelling monster is because of is your friend. So the story structure goes... Once upon a time, and every day, until one day, and because of that, until finally, and ever since that day. So that's the points that you go through. And you can expand the because of that's in the middle infinitely if you want to. But I tried to plan out my story structure with that in mind, which was difficult to begin with. And then the real test that Brian taught us was okay, so you got it working, huh? You think your big shakes, huh? Your story fits into that structure, does it, huh? Or does it fit into it backwards?
What?
Does it, if you read it backwards, does it still make sense? By which I mean sometimes you can think that your causal links work reading it forwards because your brain fills in the gaps. When you read it backwards, your brain doesn't fill in the gaps as much, which makes it harder, but also makes it more waterproof. So I'll give you an example. Mike.
What?
And ever since that day, he's never chewed gum again. Until finally...
The gum factory was destroyed.
And then what would be the one before that? Because of that, the machine stopped working.
And because of that, I'm bad at this. India's way better. So and ever since that day, he never chewed gum again, and until finally the gum factory was destroyed. What did you just say?
Because of that, the machine stopped working.
And because of that, this one's a hard one. Because of that, the machine stopped working. Because of that, they and because of that, they put a spanner into the machinery.
That makes sense, yeah. Until one day, I think is the next one. Until one day, the gum factory workers revolted.
What's the one before that?
And every day.
So
this should start to tie back into the end.
Yeah.
So it's got to be about chewing gum.
And every day they would chew gum. And every day they would chew gum, and because of that, the factory revolters doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
And
it's got to be something to do with the factory workers revolting. What about and every day the owner of the factory would chew gum extremely loudly.
Yeah. And then once upon a time there was a gum factory owner.
Yeah. So then you have once upon a time there was a gum factory owner, and every day he would chew gum extremely loudly until one day the workers revolted by sticking... No, the workers revolted. Because of that, they stuck a spanner in the machines. Because of that, the machines stopped working. And the factory closed down. No, until finally the factory closed down, and since then he's never chewed gum again.
There you go.
And there you are. That story makes sense.
It might not be a good story.
No, it might not be a good or interesting story, but the causal links make sense. And it's much easier to see the connections between them when you go through backwards than it is to go through forwards, essentially. Yeah. So it's a brain teaser and it's difficult, but it's really helpful in being like, oh crap. Does that mean that she would do that? Because actually reading through it backwards, there's not that much of a link between the two. I just felt like there was when I was going forwards because my brain was filling in the gaps in my story. Because Doig destroyed the gum factory machine. Yeah, a kid died. Exactly, you guys, you got it. Like.
Oh, Habbo, thank you for the order. Just got an email thing through. Thanks, bro.
Thanks very much. That's really, really nice of you. Like, we very much appreciate it, but make sure you guys are taking care of yourselves first.
If you're interested in this sort of like advice where we're like trying to break down how we approach story and how we make stuff, we have a number of articles that we've written in the past.
We've written a whole bunch about this stuff on our Patreon, which is free for everyone to look at. You can just read it like it's a big old blog.
Yeah, I've got this page set up to sort of like help people find stuff quickly. So I'll link you to it now, but everything here is free to read. We've got a section on like tips and advice.
Yeah, I'd be using Moneybag Doys, except this is free, so
yeah, we recommend if you're like stuck inside or want something to read or something to help with this sort of stuff. We've written articles like how to finish your project, or 10 freelancing tips to live by, reasons to do what you love. But in addition to that, there's Starlight Brigade centered ones, but a lot of this character design and storytelling stuff that we're talking about now, we have in like tangible form for you to review and like test out the ideas with. So these ones are centered a little bit on Glim sometimes, spending time with your characters. They're the first point of contact between the audience and a story, but how do you convince others to become invested in them, that sort of stuff. You guys should use some clickbait. Sure, Habbo.
Yeah, let's put some boobs on there. But Habbo, you're completely right. It is exactly like flipping the canvas, but with a story. That's a really cool analogy. I like that a lot.
I love that. Flipping your story so that you can see whether it makes sense
Yeah, it's the same thing. That's really cool. That's great.
So yeah, storytelling in character design centers on a lot of the lessons that India got through that course that she did, where the Girl in the Glim project was kind of born. How to finish your project? Export the file. And then some tips and advice about how to design characters that you intend to animate, because there's a lot of different thought processes involved in character design for something that you need to, usually from India's point of view, how to hand animate them and the reasons for that.
Oh, that's Shikaru. What are you guys animating? We're animating some panels from our graphic novel.
Yeah.
As a little teaser.
It's the graphic novel's called Girl in the Glim, and India is animating the main character from it. She's finding herself in a tornado. We are animating one of the pages and a couple of the panels from the first pages of the book as a fun thing to do together, because we like working on projects together, but also as a way to help us let others know that this project exists, and that we are very passionate about working on it. That sort of thing.
Okay. Enough talk. Rolando, yeah, you're very welcome to show us your page. Please do.
Please do.
I think the difference between graphic novels and comics, Habbo, is that graphic novels are like usually about 60 pages or more, 60 to 120 pages.
Yeah, it usually centers around...
whereas comics are per issue released in stores.
Yeah.
In 24-page chunks.
20 to 24 pages usually. Yeah. That's it really. It's like how often did they release, and like whether sometimes the story is self-contained.
It's like a little format thing.
Like there's a difference between a graphic novel and a trade. When we say trade, it would be several issues of an ongoing series collected into one book. So it'll have the kind of the feel and weight of a graphic novel, but it itself isn't a graphic novel, because it's kind of like saying an animated short rather than like the first part of a series.
Yeah, or a movie versus a series. Like Lord of the Rings would be like graphic novels. Yeah. Whereas something like Community would be issues of comics. Hell yeah, Habbo. It's time. Save me from myself.
Oh man, I really love the way that Rolando draws.
Oh, have you got it up there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
Let me just move it over. So, go to the right hand side of my screen, please. Go to the right, so that you're not cropped.
Habbo, maybe one day you will. But yeah, I think you'd be great with the story, Habbo, because you're already telling mini stories with the short animation clips that you produce.
Okay, this is cool. I like the paneling here. You've got the character top left, and then she's in like I get the sense she's yelling.
Yeah, she's angry and flustered.
So she's expressing a good bit of emotion. Are we... Oh, that's one thing to ask. Are we meant to read this left to right or right to left, Rolando? I feel like it's right to left. Beats me, I just realized just now. Because it matters when you're paneling out a story, whether it's supposed to be read left or right. But yeah, I agree with Habbo's assessment. I initially started reading it left to right, where it's like you see the emotion of the character and then you can read what they're expressing. That's really nice. You're giving them space to emote, to yell into. And then I would read from here down to here. She's like, I've said my piece. You've left this space for that to be received, and then you realize this guy is hearing it, but he's not engaging with it. He's like, whatever you just said, I'm just going to take my time. So that's where I got to here, and I'm like, he could react immediately after this, and be like, or he could reach for his coffee or something. These 3 panels is where it starts to get a little bit unclear of the order of operations. So that's why I wanted to clarify, because then I can sort of read it correctly. He puts his coffee down. Okay, we're left to writing. Cool. I think that if you wanted to communicate that he's put his coffee down, you want to have his hand on the handle, where he's just sort of like in the motion of putting it down. Because if you got the hand, which I assume this is, and the coffee mug in isolation, I don't know whether in the comic he's reaching towards or pulling away from. So you really need to clarify he's putting it down.
Like with a little clink on the bottom of it or something to show it's just contacted the table.
Or you need to make it more clear that this is he's holding his coffee in this panel. Because I see that you've got like the steam rising and he's like over his coffee here. I missed that on the first read. So now that I'm looking for the clues with the information you've given me, I can get more context. But immediately, he could have been standing next to a curtain.
Or maybe he could be sipping it or something, so it's a little bit more clear.
Yeah, like if he's trying to enjoy the coffee in this panel, putting it down has meaning and impact there. This panel here, I feel like you're leaving room for someone to talk. But I don't know if we necessarily need this. It gives context for where he is, for sure. But then,
I mean, it's from her perspective looking at him.
Like waiting to react.
Yeah, but the thing is that he doesn't have much of a reaction. So it might be actually nicer to frame him closer with her behind, still staring at him. Or just to show her reaction again. You know, to show that she's really having to like hold back on pestering him more about it.
Yeah. I think if you wanted this to feel like she's waiting for a response for him, you want to make the panel bigger. Because you want to give the audience more and her more space and therefore more time for that to happen. I would honestly, if you want that feeling of her like anticipating and waiting for him to react to her, I would get rid of this, not rid of this panel, but I would move this panel to the next page, maybe even on a page turn, so that the reader themselves can decide how long that guy is making her wait, and put his reaction to the new page, and just give this more space to show where he is.
Yeah, well, it depends what you're trying to say, because if you're just trying to say like there's a moment passing here,
yeah,
then you could do the more anime thing where they will cut to just other things around the office,
like a B-roll thing,
to show like the environment, or like it's getting late in the day, or the clock is like it's past 6 o'clock, it's super late, or something. Because looking at him creates a sense of like you feel like there's something you should be reading from him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could cut away to something like her hands being clenched, or, you know, their bags, or a pile of coffee cups that he's been going through, or something to give us a little bit more information on the situation, but also create that sense of space.
Yeah, and then move to him reacting.
Ooh.
Yeah,
you think you know what you'll do? Awesome. Really
cool. But in terms of like character expression and appeal in this, I'm invested.
Yeah, super appealing.
Opening this up and seeing the top panel, I'm like, okay, what's going down?
Yeah.
This is immediately like a really appealing moment, and character acting. This is really strong. I'm
excited to see what it is.
Yeah, and this is page 3, so that's How many are you working in these sequentially, or are you dipping into the pages that you have a clearer vision on? I should not sleep as much more often. I feel more
You feel more awake now than you are usually.
Yeah, it's weird. Maybe I'm like
You've got a second wind.
maybe so. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing this with us, Rolando.
Yeah, we love seeing it. We appreciate it. This is looking super duper cool.
So the panel layout is a template that you're working with.
Cool.
Interesting. That's interesting that you kind of forced your story into a structure that wasn't built to accommodate it.
I kind of like that in a way.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of creativity that can be born from limitation. And like sometimes
Oh, not the panels. Okay, well, we're going off on a tangent anyway. Go.
Yeah. I'm just saying sometimes the pure choice of how to frame a moment can be very paralyzing when making a comic. But yeah, it looks awesome, Rolando.
Keep going, dude.
Yeah. Bike's looking very happy.
Yeah.
Makes me happy. Oh, it's so bright outside. My eyeballs. I'm just trying to make sure that these frames are going to line up properly because I've gone back to my next keyframe now, and the gaps where the teardrops are slightly off from where I've been drawing them in the previous frame, so I'm going to adjust that so that they match up better in the final frame.
I think in light of the advice that we were giving earlier in that like find someone to get excited with, we have become adoptive parents of Orlando's story. This is
I mean, I would love to keep track on how that project's going.
Yeah, the stream is the space to do that. Outside of stream time, we're going to find it more difficult to be able to offer
to do anything.
Yes, we're
because we're so busy all the time.
We're real busy, you guys.
Yeah, we're busy, and also sometimes we're trying not to be busy now. We're deliberately trying to give ourselves time to relax outside of work.
Yeah.
So I think some nights we'll be actually just watching stuff now, which will be really nice. Mike and I will spend some time just together.
Habo's like, good, finally.
We're doing our best.
If you've known us for any length of time, you know that most of what we say is, we're real busy, you guys.
Yeah. I'm tired of that, though. I'm tired of using that as an excuse. Like, we are extremely busy, but I want to make time for other stuff as well.
India, I had an idea.
What was your idea?
It's about Mystic Crystal, so I'm going to try and say this as
Are you talking to me about the project on the stream?
A little bit. I just remember.
I'll whip you upside your head.
I just remember and I got excited and want to tell you.
Okay, go on. Say it in code.
Okay. You know the exterior of a location that we've been waiting to kind of get back and forth.
I know exactly which one you mean.
All right. I wanted to add something to our idea.
I like what you added to it. I think it's a really cool callback.
Awesome! How's that for code?
Approved.
Yeah, I thought it was a really interesting way to, like, pay homage, but also give us something that feels distinct.
Yes, I like it a lot.
Cool, and I think
saw it this morning and I was like, yes!
And I think it frames that particular shot and what's happening in that shot nicely as well.
Agreed.
There we go, you guys. That's how we do. Cool.
All the early talk as you second guess into years of work. Oh, don't worry. That happens, but sometimes it's of benefit. I do a lot of stories that fell by the wayside that I still really like, that I had when I was a teenager. But now I feel like if I went back to them, I'd want to rework them to make them better. Like story-wise, I'd want to make them better. Like I was one of the artist as a teenager who would just come up with characters and then try and attach a story to them because I liked the characters. And I still like the characters, but now I feel like I could actually write a story for them.
I went to a couple of lectures a while back. One was from Wes Burt, and the other one was from Liam Wong. And I think I saw them in close proximity time-wise to each other. One of them was about actually it was Liam Wong and someone else, because they were talking about environment design for what's the famous Crytek? No, that's the company. What's the game that has Cry in it? That is the future-y one and not the jungle-y one.
I don't know, I'm just thinking about CryEngine.
Yeah, it's built in CryEngine.
Yeah.
Crisis. Fuck it, it was Crisis. Okay. Thank you. They were talking about the environment design for Crisis. And the Wes Burt talk that I went to was talking about character design and concept design.
Mm-hmm.
And the common theme of both of the talks was story is king.
Story is king!
Story is like the armature for design, because they were talking about for the environment design is like, this environment has a history. Events and things have happened here, and people have occupied this space. And the history of this background is its story. It's unique to it. Scuff marks on a door. The space, this is really like, it's really arbitrary small things, but it makes it feel lived in. Like having an indent or a mark in the wall behind a door to show that it's been opened fast lots of times, or at least once, and showing that like tracks on the floor show like the common, like if you've got dirt that's scuffed in, things like that. That design, that story there is there, where you can have this environmental storytelling to let you know what's just occurred in a space. So you don't have to write or have a narrator be like, on the morning of June 5th, there
was a terrible battle.
The warehouse was raided by a group of ninja turtles. Like, you could just show it immediately, and in that split second, your audience is like, I know what's happened here.
Yeah, you can say a lot of stuff without saying anything at all.
And similarly, character design, Wes Bart was talking about, like, the character's design is their history. Everything that has led them up to this moment that you are seeing them has contributed to how they look, how they hold themselves, what they're wearing, how they're wearing it. Like, the example that stuck in my head was like, this character is wearing a suit. However, does the suit fit them? How worn is the fabric on it?
Is it rented? Is it theirs? Is it new? Is it old? Are they wearing it like done up properly? Are they wearing it casually splayed open? Do they have a tie? Is their shirt open? Is the shirt closed? Is it buttoned up to the top button or not? Does it have a stain on it?
There's such a depth to that one decision that as you follow them down, it's like, okay, he's wearing a suit that doesn't fit him well because it's a borrowed suit, and it's borrowed because he's on the run, or like he grabbed it off of a rail, or
like he's recently lost a lot of weight, so it's hanging loose on him.
Yep. But it's the only thing he owns because it's in his cupboard and he woke up from a 6-month coma. You know, like, you can tell an audience that something is off about a character like that, or like say they're wearing a hat but it doesn't fit the rest of their outfit.
Mm-hmm.
That has significance, or that has meaning behind it. That has an event and a choice and a decision that character has made to wear that hat that tells you about them. Like, they're wearing a suit, but their hat that's like grey or blue, but their hat's yellow. You're like, okay, there's something important about this hat because it's immediately standing out to me. What's the reasoning for it? And all of it leads back to like that story of that character, outside of sometimes the narrative and the plot that they existed. But that'll give you that that living, breathing quality to your character design. Yeah.
Yeah, especially with environment. Designing the environment to have history can help your story feel like it lives and breathes outside of the narrator, outside of what you show in the frame.
For sure, yeah. Like trying, like figuring out what your not main cast do in the space can really help. I got really talkative and I wasn't reading, so I'm gonna go back and see.
I just realised it's nearly 10 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
We are gonna have to go. You want to read the last couple and
yeah,
then we can head off.
Tibbs was saying that at 5 o'clock she cooks food and then she doesn't go back to work after that. That's her cutoff point.
That's nice.
I think that's a good structure where you're like done for the day.
Yeah.
And structure your day around being able to be done for the day.
Yeah.
Like,
I've been working till 7 recently just because our streams have run over the last couple of times.
Like today.
Which means that we end about 10 and that gives me like an hour to get showered and get breakfast.
Yeah.
Before I start, and then I go till 7.
Tibbs is recommending for someone who feels like they can't remain concentrated throughout the day to listen to podcasts and things. I think it's a really important skill to develop is being able to sit in quietness and feel relaxed. Because I find that as well. If I'm sitting and I don't have anything on, I get fidgety. And I think that is a consequence of having so much media at our fingertips that we're like, oh, I can just put this on. I can just put this on. Yeah. If the internet died tomorrow, what the fuck would you do?
Well, nothing. Because we wouldn't, we'd be fine.
I would go crazy.
Would you?
Yeah.
I'd be fine. It's not like I wouldn't miss it, but it's not like I'd die.
You wouldn't be able to listen to our stream and we wouldn't be able to stream India.
Yeah. We'd have to do other stuff.
Oh. Let's see. Doig and Swift share helpful tips and advice. Yeah, we do. Go check that out. It's really good stuff. It's all good. As long as it takes a while, you can just have it on in the background to stop you getting distracted. And turn off push notifications. I can't tell you how much I'm thankful that my phone doesn't beep anymore. It died. It's been dead since November. I haven't missed it.
Yep. I have the phone now. I have the phone in the relationship. Yeah. If you're working on a project, turning off Discord notifications is really, it can be really helpful. I can't just because I need to make sure that I'm there if people post stuff and need help, but...
Yeah, if the internet died tomorrow, how would you communicate with your clients though? We wouldn't be able to. We'd probably
telephone.
We'd probably still... Oh, well, yeah, I guess. We'd still work on what we're working on.
Messages in bottles. Carrier pigeons.
No more NSP. But yeah, I've really enjoyed today.
Good. I'm glad, especially because you were feeling so tired this morning.
Dude, guys, I slept for
3 hours.
Yeah, about that. I was out of it.
Yeah.
Before hitting stream. And then I was like, do a bit.
You guys have woke us up. What do you know? You did it.
Ba-ling.
Hey, thank you very much for the follow.
Yo, is that...
Oleshikaru. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yippee-ki-yay, or however you spell it.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Oh, I'm excited, Orlando. Please do.
And I like the format of what we were doing there, Orlando, is where you were just showing us a page blind, because then you were getting an immediate reaction of like, we don't know what's happening. So is your story communicating to the audience that it needs to? Like, one of the downsides of working so closely together with India and I, she will show me a shot she's animated, and she's like, can you tell what's happening? And I'm like, well, yes.
but you know.
But also, I know what was meant to happen as well. So I have too many context clues to give you a proper opinion, because it's like.
And that's one of the problems with NDAs is anyone you can show it to knows what's meant to be happening in that scene.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Jojo Keyframe, thank you so much for the subscription.
Hey Jojo Keyframe, thanks so much, dude.
Welcome to the elite.
Enjoy those emotes, yo.
I'm just kidding. I'll get things thrown at me if I say that.
Enjoy those emotes. I'll throw my hummus at you.
You do got the hum there.
I do.
I'm taking it.
You can take it. I have more things to throw at you.
But yeah, thank you so much. That helps us out a great deal.
It does. It helps us out immensely. We very much appreciate it.
Tib says that's why I'm not showing anyone GG100 until I have a full animatic. It's an interesting way to go about it, Tib. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if that's how you feel most comfortable, fair enough. But also, just be wary of the fact that if you're storyboarding out a 7+ minute thing, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to show people that and expect feedback that might reshuffle a lot of stuff. Because you've invested so much time in getting that whole 7-minute chunk done. It might be better for you to get feedback early on smaller chunks of it in case, so you're less attached to the final thing.
Yeah.
Just because like the more time you put into making something, the worse it hurts when you figure out you might have to throw bits of it away or redo them.
Yeah, I guess in that scenario, it's less looking for feedback and more, does this work? Yes, no.
Yeah, fair enough. If it's just that, if it's, I have made this, I am pleased with it, does this work for you? Then that's totally fair.
Diddle Crawls is like, I'm the opposite. I'm like, show everyone, tell me what to fix.
I mean, I think that's a good way to be. Because it's always better to show early and get notes then than it is to proof something up and then have to change it.
Savio's saying, do you guys have tips of storyboarding a music video? No, Savio, never done that before.
We've never done that before. Yeah, I mean, use the beat when you can because it will really help you sell stuff that otherwise wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Especially if your song has a strong beat. Have fun. Don't do what I did. Don't cut too often.
Yeah.
And you could be a bit more abstract with it visually.
Listen for more of the layers of the music for flourishes and like a suggestion of movement. Like there's parts in the song that you can like link to stuff visually that feels really satisfying. Depending on the music you're working with.
Figure out the climax of the music. And then make sure that moment's super cool.
I think when you're working on a project, you can have two distinct audiences. You can have people who are giving you feedback along the journey and people who are reacting to the final thing. And I think you want to keep the people who are giving feedback to a small amount so that you like of people that you trust. And they're not going to be able to be a part of like the people who see it fresh at the end. But any advice or any expertise that they can share along it hopefully will make what you make better. The thing about the trust aspect is that anyone that you involve in that process is going to in some way have a little bit of an influence over what you make. So
you want to make sure it's someone who you jive with creatively.
Yeah. For sure. All right, we're going to find someone to raid because we are done for the day.
Dunzo. Done it. Did it. Gotta go to bed. Gotta go to sleep. No more work today. Finished. Ah, wouldn't that be wonderful? The weekend is just around the corner, though.
Okay, I'm gonna do a quick check to see who in my long list of now people that we are subscribed to is in fact streaming, because it looks like Twitch likes to tell me all of the popular people.
All of the popular regular people.
They already has the viewers.
It's true.
So, we rated. I think we
Kuya,
rated.
if you were streaming, we'd raid you.
You shoo. Not you. The
How
Twitch.
dare you?
Twitch stream. Let's see. Okay, we rated Carol yesterday. 7th Chords is streaming.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
7 Chords is incredibly supportive to us. Please go and give them support too. Yell adventure in their faces. They are really, really, really cool, nice people.
7th Chords. They're playing Animal Crossing, if you're
Aw.
into that sort of thing.
Go and have a nice chill time looking at cute animals.
But we thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah,
And
it's been wonderful as always.
if you have any other creative questions that you're burning to ask us, like save them up, bottle them up, and bring them with you for Monday's stream.
Yes.
And we will endeavor to help you as much as we humanly can.
We think we'll be streaming gaming tomorrow morning on Twitch. So if you guys want to come and just have a chill time and hang out, then you're super welcome to join us there. We'll probably be streaming about 9 a.m. our time. That's GMT. Other than that, yeah, we'll be back on Monday with a more creative stream where we'll be continuing this.
Yeah. All right, folks. Gonna initiate the raid
And may the rest
of your day
and weekend
with
adventure.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.